For me, if you put me on a gas-powered bike, it's gonna be very hard for me to be like, no, I think I prefer an electric bike. So I'm not sure if you can hear me because there's wind in the area, but I came here to drink my coconut Red Bull, and I rented this Zero SRS 2021 from Eurocycle. Thanks, Dave. I picked it up this morning at like 8:30 in the morning. Right now it's just about noon. I've been riding around Las Vegas. Basically, I was very curious. I wanted to try an electric bike for myself. You know, I didn't want to research too much. I wanted to go into it without any expectations. I haven't even seen many videos online about electric bikes. You know, some people hate them, some people love them. I thought to myself that I would be relieved if I hated it, but surprised if I liked it. You know, if everybody's saying this is the future, I'm really curious what the future is. It looks like a regular motorcycle. It handles like one. The weight is really down low, and it feels very nimble. And by the way, Dave at Eurocycle was like, "Are you a rear brake kind of guy?" I'm like, "Sometimes." And then he's like, "Well, this thing basically doesn't have a rear brake." It's and I was like, well, you know, motorcycle rear brakes are kind of like, you know, not that great. So I was like, it'll be fine. And then when I started riding it, god damn, this thing does not have a rear brake. Like, almost non-existent. I mean, I feel like I'm exaggerating, but it doesn't. So on the engine braking, now I will say that the front brake is amazing. Jejuan. But yes, the front brake is amazing. I love the front brake. Rear brake, not so much. And honestly, the engine braking is not even that strong. It is fun. It is fun. I mean, it gets you from point A to point B in a very non-dramatic way. I do kind of miss the drama of the engine. Upshifting, downshifting, rev matching, all that stuff. There is something to be said about, you know, that kind of impending doom for motorcycles. Like, gas-powered bikes are going to be banned pretty soon, and all we're going to get is this stuff. It's not so much necessarily, we have to kind of stop thinking about government mandates and what they're going to impose on us, etc. And we have to kind of start thinking back in terms of, hey, you know, at the end of the day, what does the market want? For me, if you put me on a gas-powered bike, it's going to be very hard for me to be like, no, I think I prefer an electric bike. Whereas I am on this and I enjoy it, and I still prefer to be on a gas-powered bike. That's the difference. And I think that's how many people feel. Super environmentally friendly. It's all about the environment, making friends with all the ducks or geeses, whatever those are. It's not scaring them. Anyway, you can have an experience on your own motorcycle that feels like an electric motorcycle. Find a big hill, turn the engine off, and coast down it. That's kind of what it feels like. Obviously, you're not going to be able to like get torque and stuff like that. Okay, and as you know, this is a very vague, unprofessional review. However, instead of listening to a bunch of wind noise, you are going to listen to my voice and my recent epiphanies as it comes to this motorcycle, because I have just learned that for this particular brand, you have to buy / unlock a number of different features if you want this thing to be complete, because out of the box it's not complete, and that's what people are going to be dealing with. And that, in my book, is a total like stick your finger down your throat, gag, no thank you. Like, you can keep it, because we're so used to having things work and be complete out of the box. You know, even some gas-powered brands have started kind of doing this. I'm not going to mention any names, where they unlock features of the motorcycle that is already on the motorcycle. You just have to pay extra to unlock it. No, that's these are things that possibly large brands can do because they have enough of a following, and, you know, huge corporations don't necessarily have to give too much of a shit about their customers. Small companies, not so much. Small companies have to add extra value. They have to give extra value to hook people in and make them loyal customers. But over the long run, that's a bad business move. Obviously, you know that. I know that. Good businesses know that. So that's that. Two major drawbacks about this bike are, one, It does not have a reverse. I think for an electric bike, it's a no-brainer. It doesn't matter what the weight is. It doesn't matter if it's lighter than this bike or heavier than this bike. I think it will be very useful to just include a reverse on all electric bikes. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. Don't you just have to reverse the poles or something? Feels pretty straightforward and simple to me. The next major drawback is the fact that this thing has no handbrake. It's not like a bike with an engine that you can just put in gear and you can park downhill and it's not going to roll away. You know, the DCT bikes have handbrakes. Those are very useful. This thing doesn't have a handbrake. So basically, regardless of how you park it, where you park it, if you just pick it up from the side stand, you can roll it back and forward very easily. So it's not very, you know, hills are not very friendly to it, shall we say. These are very kind of like simple things that I think for whatever reason they didn't add. But obviously, you know, this being the first iteration of a new generation of bikes, these things are probably going to be included. But yeah, specifically about this bike, this is kind of the drawbacks I wanted to mention, in addition to what I already talked about in terms of the rear brake. Come on, I mean, you should have a legitimate rear brake. You know, it's not like rocket science. And also, this is again very vague review. I didn't talk about the different power modes, etc. I just wanted the very basic overall feel of an electric bike. Yes, I know I didn't go fast. I didn't have a proper GoPro mount so I can mount it on the helmet and go fast on the freeway, etc. Even though I didn't record it. So it was kind of very last minute. Appreciate it for what it is. All right. I wanted to get a big picture overview of this thing and by extension, probably all other electric bikes and see what it's all about. Because that's what it's going to be. And also I should note, by the way, that this bike from Eurocycle was cheaper to rent than any other motorcycle there because there's just no demand for these things. So that should tell you something else too. I mean, I'm not shitting on them, but I'm just saying. Just saying. Who are you? Like if you prefer this versus a good old gas powered bike, I don't trust you. Who are you? Anyway, you know, I think our gas guzzling, gas powered engines are not going to go away anytime soon. Should be thankful for that. Although a lot of people are scared. There's a lot of scared people out there. A lot of scared motorcyclists. You know, but no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Also, I wonder, you know, let's say in the future there are no gas-powered bikes and it's all electric. How the hell do they differentiate themselves from each other? Like, because I feel like at a certain point, all these electric vehicles are going to become very homogeneous. You know, like what will set them apart? Obviously, you're going to want the fastest acceleration. Obviously there's going to be different power modes. Okay, cool. There's going to be different weights and weight classes. Okay, cool. That's a thing. But ultimately, I think what adds so much character between these different bikes, the gas powered bikes, is just the various nuances, big and small, with the engines. Now with electric bikes, those nuances basically almost disappear. So what's going to set them apart? I don't know. Something to ponder.